Alrighty. We should be up. I see John is here. Let me get my, make sure my chat stuff's working. We'll see how we get on. So obviously going to make sure that the audio is also working. Let me see. What am I doing? Does this work? It didn't work. Oh, it did work. Hey, John is here. How's everybody doing? I'm trying something a bit weird in that I literally just posted a video like 15 minutes ago, and it's a 16-minute long video. So here's my thinking, right? The thinking is people will watch that video because it's more clickable than live streams, and then they will go from that video because they'll say, "Oh, he's live. I wonder if he's I wonder what he's doing over there." So then go click on the live button and join us over here. Just to see. It's a social experiment. So, and if it works, I might try and do it a bit more frequently, that each time I release a video that I'll do a live stream sort of at the same time as the release. I thought that could be kind of interesting. See if that works. But yeah, Chris is here. How's it going? Good to see you. Brian's here as well. Audio is good. Nice. Excellent. I've got everything. It's interesting. Like, I've got everything in front of me where I can see everything working. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is, because sometimes live streams go weird, and you know, I don't know, just doesn't work. We also have our little crown. I say crown. So if I say crown and you don't know what that means, crown. The crowns are here. So we got first, second, third place. That's always fun. So I think the more you chat, the more that you type in the chat, the more likely you are to get a crown. So now that's also true for like what's the word? Oh, it's gone. Like donations, but you don't need to do that. No, absolutely, like don't do that. It's all good. John says video, audio, hair, and mustache looking and sounding great. The mustache sounds good. Good. So I did trim it up, which I was very thankful for, because whenever you have a long mustache, like I was able to get the curls a little bit towards the end of a couple of days ago, which is fun. It's, you know, nice to have, especially when you sort of stick some hipstery glasses on there. You can go for a look that is a bit interesting. But I also went out for Chipotle last night, and I saw this hack at Chipotle, which is you get queso on the side and you pour it over your meal as you eat it. So worth it, but with a mustache, nightmare. So it's always nice to have it trimmed up for that. Having a mustache is overrated. I can't really grow facial hair anywhere else, so that's why I do this. I haven't watched the video yet, but that's how I got here. Oh, nice. So did you click on the video and then immediately go to the live stream? That's funny. Well, in some ways that actually might be beneficial, because what I want to talk about today is kind of relevant to the video. A little bit relevant. Will is here. Good to see you. You made it on time this time. I don't know if there is an on time for a live stream, is there? You just pop in and out as you guys want. You're welcome to be here, welcome to hang out, welcome to chat, whatever you guys want to do. So yeah, the video that I just put out, if you haven't watched it, that's totally fine. But I'm comparing, sorry, I'm going to move my mic a little closer. I compared the FX30, A6700 and ZVE10 Mark II. Try to give a little bit of like a recommendation of like, hey, if you're going to buy one of these, here's my thoughts. Here's what's good about each one, all that kind of stuff. But in the middle of it, or actually towards the start of it, when I was going over the price of each camera, I actually had to cut to like an edit part where I basically said like, hey, look, prices are not what they used to be. So, because in the video I was talking about like the ZVE10 at $1,000, which I thought was too high for that camera. And then I went to Amazon and it's $1,100. So I was like, oh no. So the tariffs have kicked in and everything is about 10% higher. So I had to sort of hop in there and say like, hey, prices are higher. Doesn't change anything for the video necessarily, but just be aware that all of the cameras are a slightly higher price, which is, it's annoying. Now, if you live in a different part of the world, like in, you know, John's over in England, I think, like, you know, I don't think tariffs impact you at all. So, but here in the US, everything's just a little bit higher, which is not fun. Have you moved studio or just changed the staging in the background? Either way, it looks great. I have changed the staging. So what you're looking at right now is actually In my normal YouTube shot, the desk that I sit at, you're on my desk. It sounds weird. You're on my desk right now. And so normally I'm actually filming into this corner that's behind the camera right now. And what's behind me is a whole other angle of the room. And we've been working on that to sort of make it look good. And yeah, I did stick an anamorphic lens on this one today. But this lighting here is not as anamorphic. Like I just put these are Christmas lights. I just stuck these up to try and make it look extra anamorphic-y. But it didn't. I wonder if I get extra close, does it? There we go. That's a little more anamorphic-y. Oh, I'm too close. So yeah, I mean, if I give it some serious background blur, you'll see the anamorphic stuff there. But yeah, it's supposed to be anamorphic. That is the idea. Let me see. I don't even know if this lens flares. A little bit. We get some pincushion distortion. Not as fun, but not as fun as barrel. But yeah, everyone else does. So like, you got these other YouTuber camera people who all do their anamorphic live streams on like Blackmagic cameras, like the Pixis with Blazars, and here I am on an FX30 with a cheap Sirui lens. So, but you know what? Now I fit in and I'm one of the real ones and I don't need to have imposter syndrome anymore. That was sarcasm. Armline's here. What's up? You doing well? Must be nice to be everywhere else and not have to deal with these the off again, on again tariffs. For real, like, it's like, oh, they're all coming into effect next week. Nothing happened. And then we were all like, oh, never mind. And then like 2 weeks later, all of a sudden they're in effect and nobody said anything, so we didn't know. And then they disappear and now they're back. Yeah, it's confusing. It looks good. Do you like it? Good. These little like, this side here, these like slat wall things are so popular on YouTube right now, aren't they? I know you have some as well. I can actually even see some in your profile picture there. They're so popular and they do look good. There's something about vertical lines in your video that make your room look taller. So like this room actually has pretty low ceilings. They're like 7.5 feet ceilings. They're not tall. But having like over here, like having like a low furniture and having those vertical lines just kind of make your eyes think that the room is taller and bigger than it is, which is a nice little trick. Leading lines are always good. You need leading lines anytime that you're doing anything. Leading lines are good. That's why, like, even in any shot that I do, I always try to have, like, this desk is a nice little leading line pointing to me. Same with these ones here. And then this one kind of points to me, but not quite so much. Oh, I got a weird glitch there. I don't know if you saw that on your screen. Couch, all that stuff. Yeah, leading lines. They're always good. My desk is an absolute disaster. It's a mess right now. But that's by the by. No, we don't have tariff issues here, especially if you wait for Black Friday, Amazon Prime Day, or photo and video events. You can often pick up high-end cameras for a large chunk off. Yeah. It's those sorts of things are usually pretty good. For like getting a good deal. Black Friday deals are not as good as they used to be. It feels like even Prime Day deals, like, I don't know, I need to go back and I'm going to look at all of the stuff that I talked about, because I made an Amazon Prime video, like, or Amazon Prime Day deal video, which was very successful and also incredibly profitable. I know that sounds bad to admit, but I think I'm going to make a video about it because the paycheck that I'm getting next month is one of the largest paycheck, is probably the largest paycheck YouTube-wise that I've ever received. And I may hit 20,000 subs by then, maybe. So if I could do a bit of both of like, hey, I'm at 20,000 subs, here's how profitable it can be, I may talk about that a little bit. Even though I said in the video, it's like, look, I've even put non-affiliate links in here, so if you don't want to do it, don't do it. And it was extra profitable. But anyway, yeah, those are usually a good time to buy cameras, but they're not as good as they used to be. Here's what I was saying. I want to go back to that video and look at all of those products and check their prices again, because I have a sneaking suspicion, like one of them was on sale to like $50, but I'm pretty sure I got it for $50 when it wasn't on sale, but it said $80 down to $50. And I think they're just trying to steal your money. I agree. Nothing ever happens. Yeah, it's all disaster. Like, everything's falling apart. My philosophy for this year has been, if I can't impact it, don't be concerned. You know, like, all the stuff that goes on in Washington. Like, I live in America, but, like, you know, no matter how you feel about the stuff that goes on in Washington, I can't do anything about it. I'm not there. I don't have that kind of impact. So I'm going to, you know, learn what I need to learn about what's going on in the world, pray about it, move on. That's why I saw the FX3 for $4,000. Yeah, $4,000. That's a lot of money for what is that, 5-year-old camera? Yeah, people are still buying it. And that's kind of what we're going to talk a little bit about today, about buying new cameras, because people keep buying cameras, even when they don't need them. Acoustic, I'm guessing that, acoustic panels are awesome, especially when you add greenery. I'm about 60% through my renovation. Very cool. I've been wanting to do like a YouTube studio tour. So this is most of what you can see is the YouTube studio. I've got like a TV over in this corner. It's a plant there. YouTube TV over there, and then the corner that you normally see is in behind the camera right now. So I always wanted to do a YouTube studio tour, but then I'm like, but I want to add more. I want to change it. I want to move it around. Like, I just moved everything. Like, the TV used to be here, like yesterday, and now it's over here. So I'm always moving stuff, but I really do need to make a studio tour. But yeah, amen. Yeah, it's been a great policy for this year. I feel far less stressed because it's like, hey, you know what? It's not even in my control anyway. And I do have a bunch of stuff that is in my control right in front of me. So why should I spend all of my time worrying about stuff that I can't control, when usually at the expense of the stuff that's right there? So yes, anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about buying new cameras, right? Because there is a problem. I perceive a problem when it comes to buying new camera gear, and in some senses I am part of the problem, because I'm talking about cameras and I'm encouraging people to buy cameras. Even in the video that I just put out was a recommendation of like, hey, here are cameras to buy. If you want to buy one of these, here's my recommendations. The hardest part about all of that, though, is you don't need it most of the time. Like, when people say, should I upgrade from, you know, an A6700 to an A7 III, right? Because they're kind of similar in price. And I've seen a lot of people talk about that, right? They want full frame. They're like, I want to move from the A6700 and I'm going to move up to full frame. I'll get a used A7 III or an A7C. Older camera, doesn't offer as much, but it's got that full frame or something, you know, some sort of upgrade. And most of the time, it's just not worth it. I would argue most people do not need to upgrade their gear. It's very rare that a gear upgrade is actually necessary. That's not to say never, but we do have a bit of a problem where it's like you got to buy the next best thing. It's like iPhones. Like, every year a new iPhone comes out and they make the camera 5% better and everyone freaks out. It's like, well, I got to buy a new iPhone. I'm going to go spend $1,200, and I'm like, your phone is fine. Like, just hold on to it for a little while. Now, if you have expendable money that you can just throw around and do whatever you want with it, props to you. Do whatever you want. But that's not true for the majority of people. For most people, money is tight, right? And unfortunately, whenever we recommend certain pieces of camera gear, it can seem like you can't live without this piece of camera gear, and oftentimes that's not actually the case. So always, like, before you buy a new camera or when a new camera is released, always pause for like a month before you buy it, because half the time it's like you don't actually need it. Like, I'm desperate to buy some Lumix cameras. Like, I really want to get an S5 IIX and an S1 II, but I don't need it. Like, the video that I just put out today, I put out, it was filmed on the Lumix S9, and I thought the image actually looked really nice on it. I was really happy with the way that the colors looked. It's actually probably one of the videos that I'm most happy with the way that it looks. Came from a Lumix S9. which I got for like half the price of my FX30, almost. So, but I don't need it. Like, it doesn't do anything that the FX30 that I have doesn't do. Like, these new Lumix cameras, if I'm to move to Lumix, which again, I might in the future, they don't do anything that my FX30 cannot do for me right now, that I do, if that makes sense. Like, that's not to say that nobody should buy it. I'm saying, like, for my purposes, which is majoritively YouTube, I don't need anything else. You know, there's nothing that a camera can offer me right now that my FX30 cannot do. Like, physically cannot do. Now, there might be cameras that can have better image quality, stuff like that, but nothing I need. I want to hear your thoughts. Like, what do you guys think about that? Of like buying cameras based off of your need rather than anything else? Because usually people just impulse buy, but I'm intrigued to know your thoughts. What is this? Don't things like camel show price fluctuations? I don't know what that means. camel. I don't know what that means. And you can see the price hike right before Black Friday. Oh yeah, so yes, you can check the graph. Yeah, the one on Amazon that I appreciate that they have now is like when it says lowest price in 30 days. That's always a nice one because you can actually be like, oh, it's not just been hiked up and then brought back down again. But yeah. Once you have an iPhone or small point and shoot camera or something like a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, in all honesty, you don't need to upgrade. I've seen people create cinematic masterpieces with a phone. Very true. I hate phones. So you're totally right. Like, there are some people who can make some incredible content on phones, and 99% of the most successful people on TikTok, people who are making money, even people who are making money here on YouTube, they're just using their phone. Now, money isn't all that matters. It's not about money. But yeah, I mean, you can definitely make stuff with that. Now, I would say there are things that cameras can do that phones or the Osmo Pocket 3s cannot do. But you then just have to ask yourself the question, like for all the other viewers out here, you know, we have to ask ourselves, like, does it do something that I actually need? Does it do something that I like? Yes, it can do something that my camera currently cannot. But do I need that thing? Right? For example, if you're filming a podcast, if you're doing podcasting and you have a ZV-E10 and you're plugging in little Rode mics into it, but you have some really nice XLR microphones, like you have Shure SM7Bs, and you might look at an FX30 and say, oh, I can plug my XLR mics into that, which could drastically increase the audio quality, and I can't do that on my ZV-E10. That's a good option, right? There's a valuable thing where it's like, okay, that actually meets a need that I have. But most of the time we don't do that. most of the time we just like impulse buy things, and it's like marginally better. The Lumix stuff has been looking super good. Absolutely. I mean, they do look really nice. And I really do like the colors and the contrast kind of that comes out of them at the moment. I've been trying to work on my color grading because I feel like I can get colors kind of where I want them. Sometimes it's the contrast level. I always feel like I need to learn to control my contrast level better. Sometimes I have the black level way too high because I'm trying to go for a faded look, but I go way too far. Stuff like that. But yeah, no, for sure, their stuff's looking really nice. Armalite, I have to be careful every time I'm going to read your comments before I put them up, just so that you're aware. After last time. I got the FX30 and a couple of C-Ray lenses to cut my teeth on. Got a suggestion for a shotgun mic for some basic street videography, trying to film more protests. I remember you were saying you were out there. That was one of the main things that you were doing. Do I have a shotgun mic recommendation? I don't know, actually. It depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do interviews on the street, honestly, like I love... Sorry, sorry about that noise. If you're doing interview type stuff, this might be your best option here. This is Comica VM40, that's upside down. But it's not an XLR microphone. It has 32-bit inbuilt recording. So you could actually just use it as a little microphone and like talk to people. I do have a full video about it on the channel. And it does sound really good. Again, the video that I just put out today, it was recorded using this microphone. And it's not crazy expensive. So it works pretty well. And then you don't have to have anything cabled into your camera. So that's quite nice. The other mic that I use for most of my videos is the MKH 416, but it's $1,000. So it's a little expensive. I say that, but I have 20k worth of camera gear and accessories. Yeah, I mean, look, buying cameras is fun. You know, like there's nothing better, especially like, you know, where you and I are at talking about camera gear. Like that's what we do here on the internet, is we talk about gear and equipment and all that kind of stuff. Then yeah, I mean, like it's fun to buy new stuff because like we're in a really weird spot where I still haven't made a video about it, but I can buy a Fujifilm XM5 for $800. And if I make enough content about it, and if the content gets enough views, it pays for itself without me even using it, right? Without even me going to a client, without anything. Like in that sense, like we're in a weird spot where it's profitable. It can be. It's not always. It can be profitable for us to buy camera gear because we talk about that gear and we make our money by talking about the gear. Now it's not always profitable. I've spent money on gear that I've made videos about that have made tuppence and have not been successful at all. Saf says, hi Thomas and all, good to see you, hope you're doing well. Excuse me. Jason says, I would say I impulse buy, but I spend a couple of months on research to land on the camera I have now. I probably won't upgrade till a generation or two down the road unless my use case becomes different. Well said. Yep, that's a good spot to be in. I'm trying to think of the last piece of equipment that I impulse purchased that I didn't necessarily need, is what I would say. Like I don't know the last time maybe my Lumix S9. I bought a Lumix S9 pretty quickly after it was released, but I did get one used for dirt cheap. I got it for $1,000 after it was only out for like a month, and I got one for $1,000, which is kind of crazy. I'm so close to impulse purchasing lenses. That's the thing that I impulse buy. Like the Sigma 17-40. I'm like, the amount of times that I have that in my cart and I'm like, no, I need to fix my house, or I have this bill I need to pay, or something like that. It's very, very easy. Sorry bro, I'm goofy, but I mean, well, fair enough. You're totally fine. But yeah. Also, I was drinking last time. Fair. That makes sense. No, I'm just kidding. I was drinking last time. Man, forget camera gear. Tell me what's going on in the world of Thomas. You got any cool projects on your bucket list you'd like to get to but don't have a plan for yet? I don't know. So me and a buddy of mine, we've written a full short film. We've got a script, we've got everything, and this was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. Then he moved to North Carolina, so that kind of put a dampener on things. But I got this whole sort of fantasy short film idea that I would love to work on. So like I would love to do something like that. And then I've got a couple of I've got a couple of YouTube video ideas that are a bit more cinematic kind of design than what I normally do, because usually I'm just here talking about stuff in my studio and I just talk about gear. And I have two videos that are kind of outside of the norm for me. They're still within the camera niche a little bit, but they're going to be filmed in a much more storytelling way that I'm pretty excited about trying to do. Outside of that, not really. Life is pure chaos, and we are working on making it less chaos because we just have too much on our plate. I'm 30 years old. I'm 30 years old, and I've come to the conclusion that half of the stuff that I've done in my life I should not have done. But it's worked out okay in the end, so here we are. How do you convince your other half to let you buy new stuff? Asking for a friend. Fair. So here's where me and my wife are at, is I have a full-time job. that is not YouTube. My wife and I also own a coffee shop, which she works at full-time and I do part-time to sort of help manage the business side of things. And all of the YouTube stuff is fun. It started as a hobby and it is staying a hobby for now until it becomes my full-time income. So the money that I make on YouTube goes into an account, and the whole plan is, unless we need it, I just get to throw it back into YouTube stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at. Now, it will come to a point, especially next year. I've got plans for next year that I can't talk about right now. But plans for next year, that will probably change, where the money that comes in from YouTube, I will probably need to actually reinvest into my own life rather than just YouTube. But for building the channel, that's been really helpful. It's been very nice to be able to just say like, oh, I got a check for $1,000 this month. Let's just buy a piece of gear that I can talk about. And ideally buy something that I can talk about a lot. That way I can milk it for what it's worth. So that sounds bad. I want that 17-42. Yeah, it's so cool. It's a cool one. Yeah, I don't even know how much it is. I keep forgetting. I've seen it. I've had it in my cart. Has it changed price? Have the tariffs attacked the Sigma 17-40? Let me just look it up on B&H real quick. I need to find one on that's been used, because almost everything that I own is used. $920. 920. Yeah, maybe. I have a wedding in 2 weeks, and genuinely I would love it for that wedding. So I'd be tempted to rent it if I can't get it before then. I did message Sigma, but I did not hear back from them. But that's okay. I'm a smaller channel, so. The Talk to Me movie and Bring Her Back make me want more YouTubers making movies. Yeah, that's fair. No, there's some great filmmakers out there, and so one of the videos that I plan on making is going to be titled "I'm a Terrible Filmmaker." So you guys get the kind of inside scoop of this, but this is something I've been working on. It's a little brainchild of mine, and that I really want to just like go all out and make it as cinematic as possible. Is titled "I'm a Terrible Filmmaker," and it's basically me talking about how I'm a bad filmmaker, because I am. Like, I'm not a filmmaker. I talk about gear. Like, that's what I do. I'm here on YouTube and I talk about stuff. I'm not a filmmaker. I've never identified as a filmmaker. I may have said it once or twice, but it's just because that's kind of the jargon that we use. But when it comes to like storytelling, that doesn't excite me a whole lot. I know that sounds terrible. Like, the thing that I love most, more than anything, is crafting good lighting and a good set. I enjoy that. I enjoy that over storytelling any day. But good filmmaking is all about storytelling. So I kind of want to make a cool, really beautiful video where I talk about how I'm a terrible filmmaker because the story doesn't matter to me. And I just want to make things look good. But sort of try and craft it into this nice sort of short little piece. I thought that'd be kind of fun. Mr. Camera Junkie's here. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you on here before. I've seen you in a lot of the other live streams, but it's good to have you. And that's pretty much what I do. It's great to put it back into the channel. Yeah, I mean, so we treat our coffee shop the same way. Like, our coffee shop is not particularly profitable because we put all the money back into it. So, like, my wife doesn't really take a paycheck because what her paycheck is kind of goes back into the business. So the idea with the YouTube channel is we're just doing the same thing. And it's worked great, right? So like with our coffee shop, we've been paying down what we owe on it and getting it back to a sort of profitable state of where we could sell it or do something fun with it much faster than we would have been able to do. So whereas, and I'm doing the same thing with the YouTube channel, where I kind of just get to throw money at it without too much concern, as long as it is YouTube specific money, because my wife and I just live off of my day job salary, which isn't much. Like, it's not a lot. Like, I don't get a good salary. Or sorry, let me rephrase that. I get a great salary for what my job is for our area. But it's not a well-paying career that I'm in. So, but that's fine. I don't do it for the money anyway. But we live on that. If money was no object, what's something you'd love to own? Camera gear? I'm guessing you're talking about camera gear. Camera gear wise, so this is the funny thing, is I was going to say Komodo, Red Komodo X Z mount, but that's not even all that expensive. I know that it's a lot of money, but as far as cameras go, if money was no object, that'd be a silly one to go for. So probably a Raptor. That'd be a fun one. But if money was no object, what would I like to own? My house, where I don't have to pay a mortgage. That'd be great. Paul's here. How's it going, Paul? Good to see you. Sounds like a good story. Yeah, I thought it'd be kind of fun. There would be something about like the play on what it is, if that makes sense. Like the whole video looks like filmmaking, but it's me talking about how I'm not a good filmmaker. I thought that'd be kind of like a fun juxtaposition. Lots of good people in here today. Absolutely. They're my viewers. Of course they're fun people, Paul. They're the best people. Only the best people follow this channel. Only the best people are subscribed to this channel. If you're not. Sorry, I keep locking my phone when I'm trying to keep track of what's going on with... You know what's really weird? So my phone on our internet here in my office doesn't work very well while I'm streaming. No idea why. Doesn't matter. Anyway. Man, I can relate to the I'm 30 and wish I had done things different. Don't put that short film on the back burner forever. Yeah, that's fair enough. No, it has a time frame on it, which would be the end of the year. So the plan is to do that by the end of the year because I may be moving out of this studio at the end of the year. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to get done. A whole bunch of videos. Even like what you said there about like wishing I'd done things different by the time I turned 30. Like that's one of the other videos that I'd love to do, is not camera related at all, but just something for me of like life lessons that I learned by the time I turned 30. That may be helpful to some people, might not be. Now I'm glad I did everything. Like I'm really happy with where I'm at now in life. If I redid it, I probably wouldn't do it the same way, but I'm pretty happy with where me and like my family are currently at. It's not perfect, you know. We're not we're not living the dream, but we're happy, so that's always nice. Don't forget to hit the like, people. I want to see Thomas hitting 25k before the year's out. I would love to hit 25k. I think my target was 20 for the end of the year, but we're doing pretty well, so 25 would be great. Building a YouTube channel is weird because you put all this work into some videos that you expect to do well, and then they don't do well. And then you put no work into other videos, and they do great. So there's no rhyme or reason. Everybody who talks about the algorithm is making stuff up. I believe. That is my take. That's my take. Hey there, Peter. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, so buying camera gear. Here's my ultimate piece of advice, that if I was to boil this down into a little snippet where I could take, would be, if you don't need a new piece of camera gear, don't buy it. And if you can't afford it, definitely don't buy it. Like that is one of those big things that I've learned before I'm 30, is don't buy something that you can't afford, right? If you can afford payments, then you cannot afford the item. I know that's harsh, but that's kind of where I'm at. That's why we drive a piece of junk car. But yeah, dude, that's one of the things. For those of you who don't live in America, if any of you don't live in America, when you move to America, or if you do, if you spend any time in America, or for all the Americans in here, in America, you can put everything on payments. Everything is payments. Like you can put meals on a payment plan. You can order clothes and do them in a pay in 4 through PayPal. Like everything is payments. And it's like, oh, you can't afford to buy this thing right now? That's fine. Pay for it later. Hopefully you can afford it later. And it's like, well, I think I can afford it later. And then you just sort of go for it. And it's like, uh-oh. I can't afford it later. So we don't really do that in the rest of the world. Like where I'm from in Ireland, like my family's never even had a credit card. And here in America, the thought of people not having a credit card is like crazy. So I need to get back to, I fell into it too hard. It's so easy here. Everything is so convenient. So yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I got to make that video in 2 years, but it'll be my midlife crisis at 40. Fair enough. I always wonder what my midlife crisis is going to be. It may be camera related, like buying like a red. Buying a really high end red may very well be my my midlife crisis. My dad had like the coolest midlife crisis, and like my father-in-law, he bought a motorcycle and then he bought a Mustang and then he bought a Corvette. Right, that was his that was his thing. My dad went on like a 2,000 kilometer cycle and a 24-hour kayaking race. That's like, he's wild. He's a silly man. But yeah. I really enjoyed your latest video. Love the FX30 and the A6700. Yeah, great cameras. Really, really good. I have another one coming out here not too long, because I am actually selling my ZV-E10 Mark II. It's just not worth me holding on to. I never use it. And I was going to talk, I think we talked about this in our live stream a couple of weeks ago about like how I think it was just marketed wrong. Like, and a lot of people talked about the ZV-E10 Mark II as the baby FX30, and that is true only of image quality. That's like the only thing that is true about. But here's the thing: is like there's so much more to the FX30 than just the image quality. I think over half of the appeal of the FX30 is not the image quality; it's all the other stuff. So I fell into that, and I got the ZV-E10 Mark II thinking it was going to be like the best next thing. Like I thought it was going to be the killer budget camera, and I just don't think it is. The XM5 might be, but I've got more videos about that coming out here soon. So, but yeah, it's just hard. Like, it's not that it's a bad camera. I just think it was kind of marketed badly. That seems to be a thing recently. There's been a real theme of cameras being marketed badly. Like they're I mean, well, maybe it's always been a thing. It's like back to the Canon the R5. That was like the pinnacle, right? Where they were like, it films 8K. It's a photo camera, but it's like it films 8K, and they pushed the video side, but it wasn't designed for video. That was like the first big one. And then Sony's been doing it a lot recently, I feel like. Or they don't even tell you who it is for. And then the YouTube people just make it up, myself included. Like, sorry, that sounded bad. Like, I'm included in that. Pay for it later. It's tomorrow's problem. Yeah, for sure. Like, it's so convenient. It's like, oh, it's payday next week, but I could put this on PayPal. That is the trap. If I can't pay for it in full, I don't need it. Does not apply to cameras, lenses, and accessories. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have stuff in my cart right now that I literally almost checked out today, and I almost did that. I almost did exactly what I'm talking about, right? I have a big B&H order, and I was like, I could do that and pay in 4. It'd be fine. But I need to wait because it's like payday in like 2 days from Amazon. So it's like, nah, I'll be able to get it then. It'll be fine. But that's also why I love talking about the cheaper gear. Like, the majority of this channel has been about budget filmmaking gear. I said filmmaking again. Budget camera gear. Little accessories that just are nice and don't break the bank. Like, I love talking about that kind of stuff because it's like things that are actually valuable. Like this thing. I keep using this. I'm fiddling with this at the moment. Like, this thing might be one of the greatest things ever. Just a little multi-tool. It's like $30. And I use this thing. Like, let me think of something expensive in here. I don't know. Like, I've got sliders and gimbals, right? Sliders and gimbals, you spend a lot of money on it and use them once every 6 months, right? $30 little multi-tool every single day. And that's what I love about talking about cheaper gear, is that like you can find some really great little things that just work well and are actually useful, and you don't have to put them on payments. So I've got to do the London Marathon and New York Marathon next year. Maybe that's my crisis. Dang, I can't run a mile. Like, I probably could run a mile, but I don't want to run a mile. I hate running. I got a one wheel this year, and that has been my daily driver. So I can't one wheel alongside you. It doesn't have the battery life. I'll do a half marathon on a one wheel. That's what I'll do. I'm just starting out on ZV-E10, not the Mark II. Great. Yeah. Fun little camera. In the video that I just put out today, I kind of talked about like, I still think that it's a great place to start, because you can like get that camera, and most people, they end up upgrading their camera in like 2 years anyway. So why spend $4,000 on a camera today so that you can spend $4,000 more in 2 years once you've learned your craft, rather than spend $500 today, learn your craft, and then you spend your $4,000 get your bigger, super more expensive camera. I support this message. Yeah, for sure. Yep, camera gear, it doesn't apply, for sure. You're talking with Peter. I started on it and upgraded to the FX30, one of the best cameras in my opinion. I love the Mark I and miss it even with the FX30. Yeah, see, like with me getting rid of my ZV-E10 Mark II, I'm tempted to buy an original ZV-E10 Mark I. Mainly to talk about on the channel, because again, there's still loads of people using it, so I feel like I should have one so that I can actually still talk about it for the people on the channel who still, are wanting or have questions about it. So yeah, it's a great little camera, and again, it can last you. Like there are things that I've filmed on the ZV-E10 that I'm still proud of today. Like, and it was years ago. Even though it's a cheap camera, like once you learn, here's the thing. I think a camera, you can get a good image out of any camera. The important thing is knowing the camera, right? And I think that was the thing with like the ZV-E10, because that's what I started this channel on back in the day. Like I'd used loads of other cameras before. I'd had loads of cinema cameras and Blackmagic's Z-cams. I know everybody hates Z-cam, but I actually quite liked it. I've done a lot of stuff. But I think the ZV-E10, because I was using it for this channel and I was really trying to work on this channel, I put so much work into learning the ZV-E10. So I really knew what I was talking about. I kind of made a joke about this the other day, but like, what's the word? Imposter syndrome is a big deal, right? And it's a big deal for YouTubers, I think. Well, it's definitely just a big deal for me, right? It's really easy for me to feel like I have imposter syndrome here on YouTube, because a lot of the other people who I talk about camera gear with, or some of the people who will hop in this chat, are cinematographers. They're like, they own production companies and they're doing big things, and I'm here sitting in a basement in a church in Kentucky talking about camera gear. Now, I've done commercials and I've done loads of weddings and I've done stuff, but I can at least So in theory, I could maybe try and talk at their level, but I would definitely feel a huge level of imposter syndrome. And I had just this fear of getting something wrong. Whereas the ZV-E10 is like, it's at a beginner level, and I wouldn't consider myself professional, but I can certainly talk at the level of the beginner standard of a ZV-E10 and use it well. So that's kind of where I kind of went with that camera. Is it's a great camera. It's cheap, so a lot of people have it. So there's a large audience for it. But also, I feel qualified enough to talk about it. But then, yes, that's the thing, is like on YouTube, you'd really need to know what you're talking about, or people will destroy you in the comments. So I learned it really well. All that to say, ramble. Sorry about the ramble. All that to say, the most important thing is that you know how your camera works, and you know its limitations, and you know how to mitigate those limitations. So if the ZV-E10 is the camera that you have, then your limitations are going to be battery life, stabilization, and 8-bit color. But you can push past those really easily, right? Rig it up. If you want to get rid of the battery life, stabilization, a rig will also help with stabilization, or just use a gimbal. I prefer a rig. And 8-bit, just don't push your colors too hard. Lean into a more natural color grade. You're good. You got a great image. I don't know if I see myself upgrading from the A6700 and the first ZV-E10 for a good while. Nice. Yeah. Those are great. People don't really need to upgrade most of the time. Now, that doesn't mean never, right? Like I went and used an A6000 the other day. and I was taking photos in low light at a concert. It was a disaster. It did not work. It did not work well at all. So there are times where cameras need upgraded from, but most of the time you're fine. Oh, nice. Hope that is me one day. What did Ollie say? Upgrading to the FX30. Yeah, Peter. I mean, I don't know where you're at. Are you, if you're in North America or what you're doing, or in a place where camera gear is relatively affordable compared to the rest of the world. But yeah, like, look, you can make money with cameras relatively easily. So I don't think an FX30 is too far off the cards. If you like, moving from a ZV-10 to an FX30 is not as big a jump as a lot of people think, especially because you get to keep all of your lenses, right? Like, even if you get into real estate, take photos of 10, 15 houses, there's an FX30. Do 2 weddings, there's an FX30. That's at a beginner price. You know, once you really get into weddings, you could buy an FX30 with every wedding that you do if you charge enough. So you'll get there. And it's always exciting. It's exciting to sort of, like, as you build and as you grow, it's like, oh, I can just buy stuff for my business. This is awesome. Anyway, my Amazon cart is always sitting around £5,000, and I check it almost every day, then sulk because I have to remove things. Yeah, I actually had to go through the other day, and because we use our Amazon account for everything for our coffee shop, so we're buying stuff all the time, and I have to go in almost every day and, like, save for later, because there's, like, all this camera gear, or, like, I'm building a couple of PCs at the moment, and I'm like, oh, but there's, like, really nice RAM or something, and it's like, I'll just save it for later. So I had to go through the other day and clear out my whole save for later thing, because there was hundreds of things in it that I don't need anymore. They should call it the pay boo-hoo card, because you're going to cry when you get the bill. Yeah. I mean, the pay boo is the one where you don't have to pay the tax, right? You basically get 6% off. Yeah, I just don't trust myself with credit cards anymore. So I've moved off of it. It's too easy to fall behind. It's far too easy. I've got a camera roadshow next week or next month, where there's all the brands there, and I've been told they'll be on the day offers. Sorry, my brain is not working. I'm dyslexic, but you haven't written anything weird. My brain just did not work. I've got a camera roadshow next month where there's all the brands there. And I've been told they'll be on the day offers with extended warranties. Pray for you. Absolutely. That's awesome. Where's that? A camera roadshow? Where is that? Is that over in England? I might need to go find out about these camera roadshows. That sounds awesome. Had the ZV-10 Mark I do some pics once in a while for gigs, but used it for video stuck between FX30 and A6700. Thank you. Yeah, the video I just put out today, kind of talks about that whole problem, right? That's the 2 cameras that we talked, or the 3 cameras that we talked about. 6700 and FX30 for video. If you're video only, FX30, unless you can't afford it, and then go with the A6700. And then all you need to do is just worry about overheating. That's the only difference. But if you can swing an FX30, I think it's great. I love the ZV-10 Mark II for casual shooting, and makes a great top down. Matches the A7S III well. That's cool. So for especially for, like, static stuff, because my biggest complaint with it is that there's no IBIS or mechanical shutter. So for handheld, move around photography, videography, it's a bit of a disaster. But yeah, if you're sticking on a tripod, you can get, it's great. And for a top down, for sure. That's actually, I think that's what I've been using for my top downs for a little while, because my 6700 is sitting over here. It used to be my top down, but the last few videos, the ZV-10 Mark II has been my top down. Yeah. I'm trying to stay strong and attempting to hold off from buying another camera until the FX3 Mark II comes out. Hopefully with a 24 megapixel 6K open gate and the new AI autofocus. It'll definitely have the AI autofocus. At a guess. Like, that may sound like I know anything. I know nothing. If they don't put the AI autofocus in there, that would be crazy. I have a funny feeling we are never going to get open gate from Sony. I would be very surprised if we get OpenGate. I think we may get 6K, or they may just jump to 8K. But OpenGate would surprise me. There's a couple of things they could do though. I mean, if they did 32-bit float internal, if they put like mounting points on the bottom, right? Because vertical video is becoming much more popular for client work. I don't enjoy doing it, but it's a thing, and you're gonna have to adapt to it. If they put with the Canon R50V, just put the mounting point on the bottom, that would be a good little thing. I know that's a very small thing to do, but I suppose it does have some threads on the sides. What else could they do? It's hard to know. I don't know how. Like, I keep talking about cameras need to innovate, but I don't know how they would do it. Jarrell over on Uncensored talks about AirDrop. That would be a pretty big one. Internal storage. If it had like a terabyte of internal storage as your backup or just in case, yeah, that would be awesome. That would be really cool. So, yep. Anyway, always interesting to talk about it. Thanks for the shotgun mic recommendations. I put it in the cart and now I'm going to have to fight with the wife about it. Yep. Hey, she'll win, and that's fine. That's okay. That's totally fine, because she's probably right. If you can't afford it, you can't get it. I have thankfully me and my wife are now very much on the same page when it comes to finances. That took us a while to get there, but I have an intern at the moment who is terrible with money. Kate, if you're watching, I'm so sorry, but his wife is so good with money, and she's the strict one. And it's really funny because he'll like, oh, I should get this. Like, we're building him a PC. That's what we're doing. It's like, oh, I might just go buy this. I'm like, well, you should chat with Jillian about that. And he's like, yeah, but she won't let me. And I was like, well, probably don't buy it then. So it's not worth the hassle. You're from Denmark. Very cool. Okay. What are the main camera distributors over in Europe at the moment? I actually don't know. I don't know where's all the best places to buy camera gear. I know Amazon is in Dublin now, so they're probably shipping out a whole lot more and doing more in Europe. I don't think, does B&H or Adorama, do they do anything for Europe? I don't know. I use Paybu for the no tax. Yeah, for sure. I know Paul you get all the little discounts to get stuff. He works the system. It's impressive. Then pay off the same day. I make the payment. Yeah, that's always the idea. And I think if you're disciplined enough to do that, then it's worth it. Most people aren't disciplined enough to do that, including myself sometimes. So I've had to be like, no more. But yeah, if you've got the discipline to make the payments on time, then yeah, then it's definitely worth it for sure. Yeah, it's in Cambridge in August. Come and get some gear. Can I get to Cambridge in August? I can't get to Cambridge in August. I haven't been to Cambridge. I've been to Oxford. I know that you're probably not talking about the university, but my mind went to the university. I'll have to, let me know when more of those are happening, mainly next year. I can't leave the country right now. That sounds really bad. I can't leave the country. I'm in the process of doing citizenship here in America, and I'm in green card limbo waiting for my next one. So I can leave the country. It just gets really complicated to get back in, because I have to present all of this paperwork and it's a nightmare. So I'm just waiting till I get my passport. Makes life so much easier. John Will's been watching your stuff in A7C2. I'm very interested, or very tempted to buy an FX2, because for me right now it's cheaper than the A7C2. Cheaper than the A7C2. Oh, with your trade-in thing? Like the idea of a video-centered A7C2 with the FX body. You can get an FX2 for less than an A7C2? How'd you manage that? We might need to talk. I don't know. Oh, or are you saying, oh no, I did read that right. That's crazy. Wingman EU says, got myself the A6700 2 weeks ago, used for €12.50. It also included the Sony 11mm f2.8 and the DJI Mini and a Rode mic. The DJI Mini mic or the DJI Mini gimbal? Cage and handle. Also bought myself Sigma 18-50, a tripod and a bag. That's a lot. That's a great deal. €1,250 for all that. That seems great. You know, I think we talked about this last week, but I would love to see camera brands start to release prime lenses as their kit lenses, right? Instead of, or at least have an option, right, to include a cool, like, small prime lens as a kit lens. Nikon have done it with the ZF, but like most of the kit lenses that cameras offer are, I hate. Like I know there are some people like kit lenses. I can't stand them. There's not a single one that I've used that I liked, including Fuji's. Everybody said Fuji has the best one. I disagree. I don't like it. So if they gave me like a 40mm f2 or a 28mm f2, or I think 28mm would be perfect, like a little 28mm f2 as a kit lens, I think that would be great. I think that'd be really cool. I'm on Amazon Prime days, and now I'm perfectly. Oh, you got this on Amazon Prime Day. I'm perfectly set up for photography and light filmmaking journey for around $1,800. That's awesome. That's really great. Good deals. Good deals. Congrats. Nice. I'm guessing you're talking about the same thing. Yeah, for sure. I also have an A7S III. I need a camera for better photography that I can use for both. I wish I could do the A7R5, but that's a bit too expensive, even with 1,000 off to $27.98. I've seen some used A7CRs going for like $2,300. Now, obviously, you don't get your discount that you were talking about, like the trade-in thing, which you need to make a video about that, by the way, about how that works or how to do that. I think that'd be really popular. Like if you make it about like how to get money off, for sure. I think people would love it. Do it. Absolute steal, and I already have had a ton of fun trying to get that light lines of passing cars and buses with a low shutter speed on the last week's night. Love it. P.S. The cam looks like new. That's really cool. When I miss that phase of photography and videography when you learn something new, or there's like a little technique, and you just get hooked on it. Like that first time that you try slow shutter speeds for like waterfalls and stuff, you're just going up to every piece of water with a tripod and just like trying to get that cool fluffy motion, or the light streaks from the cars, or same with like anamorphics. Like the first time you get into anamorphics, you're like everything. You just need to stretch everything, and you're just going for it. Open gate has been that one for me recently. I've loved filming in open gate, and just having that different aspect ratio. But that's just one of my favorite things about photography and videography is whenever there's like a cool new technique that you learn, and you're just like, it just has you going out all the time with your camera, just like shooting stuff all the time, just to try it out. I love that. Casper, what camera are you streaming on? I'm on the Sony FX30 with the Sure 20mm f1.8 autofocus anamorphic, and I de-squeezed in post manually on OBS. If you de-squeeze anamorphic in the FX30, then it turns off autofocus, which is very annoying. So yeah, it's a good one. I like it. No color corrections. This is straight out of camera. Best place to buy cameras here. Oh, Wex. I forgot about Wex. Camera World, Amazon are the main ones. I think the very first SD card I ever bought was from Wex. I think it was. I'm trying to remember. It was up in Belfast, and it was an actual walk-in store. That might have been a Wex. I can't remember. I've been looking at a streaming camera non-stop for 2 weeks now and can't decide. I was thinking ZV-E10 for starters, and then I looked at the ZV-10 Mark II for future-proof, but then spiraled and saw the Lumix. Yeah, you'll spiral. I would choose your lens mount first, and then like choose what lenses you want and go with that. Right, choose after that. The ZV-E10 for streaming, if you plug it in over USB-C, I think you only get 720p. So just a heads up on that. But if you're gaming or something and you just put yourself in like the bottom corner of the screen, 720p is fine. I've streamed on that quite a lot. I have a little gaming channel, which I haven't touched in like 6 months. I really want to get back into it, but it was like a Minecraft gaming channel because I'm only 30. And I used the ZV-10 for that. And I thought it turned out pretty well. So I don't know, does Lumix, for any Lumix people in here, you can answer this. Does Lumix have, can you USB-C live stream with the Lumix? Or which Lumix cameras can you do that with? I don't know. EDU discount is like the same price right now. Ah, for the FX2? Interesting. S5 II and S9, but I don't know if you can stream with S9 because of overheating for like Twitch, etc. I haven't tried it with the S9. I've got a video coming out next week about how to avoid overheating, because there's 3 things you can do, in my opinion, to stop overheating, and I'm going to be testing it with the S9. So, but again, I don't know. I've never tried plugging the S9 USB-C in to the camera or straight into a computer, so I don't actually know if you can do that or not. But if you go over HDMI into a capture card, that'll work. And yeah, you may run into overheating. But if you used a dummy battery plugged into the mains, you might not get overheating. But yeah. What did you say earlier? You were thinking of the ZV-10. I wasn't sure if you had the ZV-10. Do you have any cameras right now, or are you just getting started? That'd be good to know. The EDU, it's 15% off. I'm behind a little bit. Sorry, let me catch up. Oh, that was too far. Sorry. Armalite's got the more important questions right now, John. Sorry, I'll get back to you. Favorite Taco Bell menu item? Are you a Crunchwrap guy? I'm the $5 Luxbox guy, because it's pretty good. And if I'm feeling spicy, I'll go with the $7 Luxbox. The mini mic. Oh, so they give you a Rode and the DJI? Which one do you prefer? That's an important question. The DJI or the Rode? I make a rig for the A7C II that fixes overheating. Ah, very cool. I haven't actually used the A7C II, I don't think. Maybe I have. I think I might have used it briefly. The A7C, the original one, used to be my main camera for this channel for a long time, and I loved it. Sorry, Paul's sending me messages over here at the same time. I'm getting distracted. Right now, brand new for me, they're both $2,200. I don't know how you do all of this. I need to like work all of these magic things and figure out how to get these deals. I don't have $2,200 right now to spend on a camera, but if I did, I'd be very tempted for an FX2. I bought a cinema rig instead, so I had the option of a small compact camera or a kitted out cine camera. If the FX2 makes more sense for you, then go for it. But weigh it up first. Yeah, I like half the time I actually enjoy cameras just to rig them out. Like my S9 is here, and it's rigged out at the moment. You can't really see it. But I've got my S9 rigged out, and I got a really good S9 rig that doesn't overheat, has really good battery life, big monitor, all that kind of stuff. And I did the whole thing, including the camera, for $1,500, which I thought was a good deal. So I need to make a video about that. I'm just waiting on a lens to come in for that video. That's a good idea. I need to do more videos like that for sure. Yeah, if you can tell people, hey, here's how you can save thousands of dollars on camera gear. Oh, absolutely. Paul, you just gave me an idea for a new video. Thanks. Oh, you're gonna have to race John. You're gonna have to race him or collab. Oh, there you go. Yeah, do it together for sure. That'd be an interesting one. Talking about how to do it in different parts of the world as well. You know, saving money in Britain versus America. Gabe's here. How's your week been? It's been a crazy week. I'm behind on getting YouTube videos out because we were in the middle of summer camp season at the church that I work at. So it was VBS week, which I didn't have much to do at it because we have a children's minister that leads that. But I was running the tech for the whole week. So I was like, I had to be here, but I wasn't really doing a whole lot. But anyway. I have an FX30 and I'm struggling to get crisp close-up shots of any subject using the 33mm f1.4. Also tried the 24 1.4 because 24mm have lowest minimal focus point than 33mm, but not good enough. Okay. That sounds like a lens thing. I don't think the camera would have much impact on close focus sharpness. Is the 33mm, is that like the older Viltrox lens? I'm trying to think of what the 33, if it's one of the old Viltroxes, I remember those had some sharpness problems. So it's probably a lens thing. But is that what you're needing it for? Yeah, if most of what you're doing is going to be close-up stuff, then you may need to switch to something else. But if that's just like a little fun thing, I wouldn't bother upgrading, unless you really need it. Because again, that's kind of what this live stream was supposed to be about. Not that live streams ever cover what they actually plan on talking about, but yeah, the only upgrade when you need to. Lumix is too limited on lenses right now, but yeah, yes, that is changing. So there's a lens coming in. A company are sending me a lens, and there was a little bit of a language barrier. So I don't know if I'm getting the E mount or the L mount. And honestly, that's going to be a pretty make it or break it decision for me as far as like whether to go with Lumix or Sony or Nikon. If it comes in, because I'm very excited about the lens. It is a 35mm 1.4. I don't think I can say who it's by, but it's 35mm 1.4 that I'm genuinely very excited about. And if it's as good as I think it could be, then that will be probably that'll be my new main lens for cameras that I film with for my YouTube setup, because I'm loving 35mm at the moment. The video that I put out today was at 35. But if they send me the L mount version, then I'm probably going to go a little bit further into Lumix. But if they send me the E mount version, because it's full frame, I may go more Nikon. I may try the Z6 III or see if they do something else. But I'm pretty sure I'm getting the L mount version. I don't know. But I'm very excited for it, especially on the S9. I think it'll be really nice. Yeah, I waited in the cold night for about 2 hours to get that one cool shot, and it was absolutely worth it. I love that. Stream. I'm guessing that's Stream. Stream looks good, by the way. Thank you. I am trying to work on... one thing I'm working on is trying to make sets like this look really good without any color grading. Because sorry, I banged the table. I kind of have relied on color grading quite a lot to sort of make stuff look better and more cinematic. But what I'm trying to do now is like, this is all straight out of the camera, and actually do my color grading with lighting instead. So having a warm key light instead of just 5600 Kelvin. Go for something warm with like a hair light that's going to be, give me that teal. So on my face, I've got the teal and orange kind of look, and then add a little bit more sort of blue over here. Even getting the light, which is giving me this sort of edge light over here, but mainly to touch on the leaves. Because if I turn this light off, 1 second. It's amazing. It's amazing the difference that makes of just having that light hitting these leaves. Do you know what I mean? Like this sounds silly. Most people probably don't care about this, but there's something about just getting that little bit of light on the leaves. It's probably too much. This panel that I'm using is not very good, and it's not very adjustable. But there's something about getting that, like, I've moved it so it's like way too bright now. But there's something about just little things like that I love. I love doing. I need to fix that now. That's going to bother me. There we go. I just wanted a little bit of light, not that much. Anyway, thank you. I've tried to USB-C with the Lumix S5 IIX and it didn't work. They have something for live streaming with Ethernet, but I just used a USB-C capture card. Yeah, Condor Blue have a really, if anybody doesn't have a capture card, my favorite one is Condor Blue, have a really good capture card, and it's really affordable. Because it used to be, like $100 for a good capture card, but I think theirs is like 30 or 40. So that'd be the one that I'd recommend. I use a switcher, which is completely overkill, and especially because I'm de-squeezing in post. If I switch to my B camera, it's like not on. Hello, B camera. What have you done? Oh, there we go. Now this is all de-stretched, even though I don't want it to be de-stretched. So that's annoying. But it was supposed to be a little desk shot. Anyway, do you want to try out the Sony RX1 R3? Probably not. It's not a camera. It's not for me. I don't think it's for me. I don't live, like if I lived in like New York, or if I lived somewhere where the street photography was more accessible and more doable, then yeah. Most of where I live out in the country of Kentucky, out in the countryside of Kentucky. Kentucky is not a country, but I live in the country. So we've got some cool like caves and hiking spots. But even then, like, I think if I'm going hiking, especially out at like Red River Gorge or rock climbing, stuff like that, I'm not going to take a $5,000 camera that I can break. So, I don't know. Probably not. I mean, if someone sent it to me for free, sure. But I'm certainly not going to buy it. It's just not a camera for me. But I'd say the same thing about Leica. Any fixed lens camera honestly doesn't really interest me that much. But to some people, they're very interesting, just not for me. I've seen people talking about dummy battery to S9 with the Camlink, but they only show like 1 to 3 plus continued use. I don't know what that means. No one hours. Okay, so no one talks about 6+ hours continuous streaming. You're going to stream for 6 hours on Twitch? That's a long time. Yeah, at that point, I don't know. Yeah, you may need something with a fan in it, or attach a fan. But honestly, if something lasts for 3 hours, it's probably going to last for 6, if I'm honest. I'd be very surprised if a camera overheats beyond 3 hours. Does that make sense? But don't take that word for gospel. I'm just saying I would be surprised. I have no idea if it would. It would just surprise me. I can't remember what that was in response to, but I'm glad it was funny. Have not really tried the video stuff. It's on my list for next week. Fair enough. Cool. Oh, sorry. I don't have a cam yet. Looking to buy my first, but I wanted to future-proof so I could do everything. That's fair enough. If it's mainly just streaming, a used S9 or a ZV-10 Mark II I think would be perfectly fine. With a wide lens. Just make sure you have the budget for a wide lens. And I would recommend a prime. I think primes are just better, especially for streaming, because you can blur out the background like this if you want to. Now, if you're doing like a green screen background, if you're gaming and you're going to be removing the background anyway, then you can just use whatever. But make sure you leave enough budget for lighting and audio and a lens. I know that's a lot, but I would definitely think about lighting. Like at the moment, I'm using just a tube light above my monitor. It's $100 light. So you just leave yourself some space for everything else that you might need. I think the FX2 will be popular this year once it releases. If I can go to town on content, I feel like that would be popular. But I said the same thing about the ZV-10 Mark II and didn't make enough videos. Fair enough. I didn't make all the videos that I made about the ZV-10, the original. Anything I would ever touch about the original ZV-10 would do well on YouTube. The ZV-10 Mark II, I had a couple of videos do okay on that, but I haven't done, I'm probably the same, I haven't done very many videos about it. But it doesn't seem as popular as the original ZV-10. But yeah, sorry, we're going back to Taco Bell here. Do you think we can work the Taco Bell Lux box into the story of the short film? Put me in the credits if you do. You know what? I'm going to write that down. Yeah. If I remember, I will try and make that a thing. All right. I've put that as a note just to give you a little something. Maybe. We'll see. I'll probably forget. It's the Viltrox lens. Yeah, so those older ones, I think they struggle a little bit more. Their New Year series, the Air series, seem to do really well. But honestly, I don't do much macro stuff at all. So for zoomed in stuff, I don't know. I know nothing. Honestly, every time I do a lens review, I don't think I've ever mentioned close focusing. And anytime I've watched a lens review, I don't think I've ever paid attention to close focusing. So that's probably my bad. I've never really paid attention to that. I probably should, but there you go. Which focus did you use on the A6700 again? I just got the Nightwalker 16mm cinema lens. Which focus did I use? Which follow focus? I don't know if you mean follow focus. I'm guessing you did because of the cinema lens. I have mainly used the Tilta Nucleus Nano with their focus handle. I love their focus handles. So they make these like side handles that you can attach, that you can control the focus on the handle rather than having to use that wheel thing. So I love those. It's a little expensive because you got to buy the Nucleus Nano and the handle separately. So you're probably talking $400. So that is expensive, but those would be my favorites. Otherwise, just use your hand. I've kind of gone back to doing that, if I'm honest, because I take, when I am using rigs, if I'm ever doing a wedding or something that would require me to use a rig, or filming something that requires a rig and cinema lenses, then I'll do that. But I like to be able to like take my cameras apart and put them back together relatively quickly when it comes to rigs. So I've opted back to just doing hand focus because it's easier for me to just like not build such a big rig that I have to then take apart everything again. But yeah, if you're going to stick with one, I'd go with the Nucleus Nano. That sounds like Viltrox to me. Little saw it at NAB. Yeah, I think it was. But your video color grading looks so good with that set. Yeah, it's worked out well. So no color grading going on at all. This is just straight out of the camera, which I'm genuinely happy with, because the other corner that I film into, when I film like with this set, with this whole table and that light, if I don't color grade it, I look so pale. Because I am pale. I'm Irish, but I have a really warm light on me right now, so I don't look as pale as I am. So that's quite nice. Sorry, you can't tap on your phone. No worries. Lighting is key, for sure. No pun intended, but key lights are even more important. Yeah, it's amazing. Like, I wish lighting videos, maybe they are, but I wish lighting videos were more popular, because I think people don't understand just how powerful lighting is. Like, it completely transforms a shot. From dull and grey to sort of, it gives you that pop. Do you know what I mean? Like Paul, actually, you upgraded your whole lighting setup not too long ago, right? You kind of changed your studio, and it looks fantastic. That sort of light green and teal that you have in the background has really sort of like blended nicely. It's not too overpowering. It looks really good. It's amazing the difference that lighting makes. And talking about lighting, Smallwork makes an incredible LED flashlight that simulates blinds or a window on your back wall. It's right. Which 1 million? It's right there. And it is doing this light right here. Everything's backwards, so it's hard to tell. But yes, I'm using one over here, and it is making that light. The window one does look cool. I like the line one. But yeah, that flashlight thing is awesome. I love that. I love it. It's so handy. Does the Kentucky countryside get same day out? No, it doesn't. It's 2-day shipping. Not even next day. Not same day. Not even next day. 2-day. Not today. Like 2-day. Which is such a first world problem to be a bother. Do you know what I mean? Like, back in the day, whenever I was a kid, it was like you'd order something and you have to wait weeks just to get anything. That was also to Ireland. Like, get it to Northern Ireland, nothing would ship there quickly. So you would go for the S9 over the S5 II, or just go with ZV-E10 or Mark II. I have fund for lenses. I figured 24mm for full frame or 16mm for APS-C, maybe 30mm. Yeah, I would go 16 or 24. This is not normal. This is about 24mm wide ish. That's very much an ish. Is that right? Maybe like 25, 26. almost all of my videos are filmed on the FX30 with a 16mm f1.4, which gives you that 24mm equivalent. So I think 24 full frame equivalent is a good choice for streaming. I said S9 over S5 II mainly for price, but if you can find an S5 II for a really good price, I would go with that. It's hard. It's up to you. I mean, it's really hard to be able to recommend a camera, because this is what I was kind of talking about in that video today, is like, it's probably the hardest question that we get asked, because first off, you're spending a lot of money. I'm not spending anything. So it's easy for me to say, oh yeah, just get that. But I want to make sure that you get the right thing. But then at the same time, all cameras are good. So I'm not, at the same time, I'm also not concerned because it will be good. But at the same time as that, you know, depending on where you want to go in the future with your camera, will change which camera I would recommend. So if you're like, hey, look, I just want a camera to stream and I don't care about upgrading it at all, then I'd probably just say a ZV-10. But if you're like, I want to start with streaming, but I also want to use it for some filmmaking stuff and I want to be able to grow in it, then maybe I would go Lumix. And then the S9 over S5 II, it depends on your budget. Same with the ZV-10 to ZV-10 Mark II. Depends on your budget. If you have the budget to swing the more expensive one, go with the more expensive one. But if you don't. So it's a hard one. It's a really hard one to recommend. Like not knowing your space, not knowing what you're doing, not knowing where you want to go in the future with it. It is hard. So I'll recommend the best that I can, but it's a tough one to do. I thought maybe the S5 II was better choice because of cooling, but I love how the S9 have features and is small. Yes, so the S5 II will be better for cooling, for sure. Unless you dummy battery it in, then you'll probably be fine either way. The S9 is small, cheaper, same image quality, same lens. Again, I don't know if you can USB-C. So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Both cameras are good. I think the S5 II is going to be more future-proofing for you and is probably more robust and more, you can use it for more stuff, especially more professional work. But again, it is more expensive, so you're just going to have to pay for the premium on that. I'm guessing you're excited about Taco Bell then. That's a maybe. Very much a maybe. And if I forget, I do apologize. Oh, and OpenGate, of course, huge for TikToks, etc. Yeah. I'm a fan of OpenGate. It is fun. I need better autofocus. I need better, what's the word? Lenses. Anamorphic lenses. That's what I was trying to get. I need better anamorphic lenses to really utilize OpenGate. But for now, I actually love that kind of like 3:2 aspect ratio. I think it looks really, really nice. I haven't had Taco Bell in over 2 years or any fast food. Yeah, I do my best, but it's difficult where I live. That's like all we have. And our local markets are awful. It's so convenient. Like when life's as busy as it is, it's so convenient to just be able to get Taco Bell. I'm usually the same way, Paul, that I'll go like a year or two without anything. And then I'll be like, oh, I'll hop straight back in. I was that way with soda. So I cut out sodas or fizzy drinks or pop or whatever you want to call it. 7 years ago. I think it was 7 years. Just because I was just consuming way too much sugar. And this year was my first year that I allowed myself back to enjoying it a little bit. Other than that, I just had like plain sparkling water. And it's interesting is like now I find like Sprite or Coke or anything kind of gross. It's like way too sweet. Sprite is one of the only ones that I'll enjoy. But other than that, I'm loving sparkling water. So, little B-roll of a Taco Bell Deluxe box while talking about the camera. That's what, yeah. Just me crying in the corner, talking about how I'm a terrible filmmaker, just stuffing my face with Taco Bell, eating away my feelings. Yeah, it'll be fun. Have to go now. Thanks for the education and the inspiration. You're welcome. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Hope you have a good evening. Everyone else says goodbye. Yeah, my room, I love it. A lot better. It looks great. It's amazing how, I think it was it Dom put out that like a lighting tutorial, which did really, really well. He's kind of like a wizard with lighting. Also, his B-roll shot with that 50mm 1.2, it looks so good. It's really nice. You're my inspiration. Oh, Paul, you know what? We need to hang out more. You're down like in Florida somewhere. I wish I could get out more. We need to get like YouTuber hangouts more frequently. Trying to get this TV up, and it will be sweet for the background and to showcase photos I shoot as well. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know which TV you went for. I have a TV and it was in the background over here, but it flickered because I'm cheap and I don't buy nice TVs. I just buy big TVs because I don't need it to be super nice. But yeah, that would be the only thing. Is just being aware of the flickering. It's 2 days shipping because they have to travel 300 miles and travel by horse. Yeah. There are horses. There's a lot of horses out here. A lot of Amish who still ride around on horses. They're always fun. They cause some traffic, but it's fun. Truly is a first world problem here. Amazon has spoiled me with ordering in the morning and getting it the same afternoon. That's amazing. Yeah, that is spoiled, but great at the same time. When I was in Lexington, we could do that with food because they had a Whole Foods. So you could order Whole Foods stuff on Amazon and they would deliver it that day. But yeah, no, I would be impulse buying stuff way too frequently. The nice thing is my life is so chaotic that it's like if I'm ordering something and it's like, oh, it won't be here for 3 days. I'm like, I might not be here in 3 days, or I might have other plans in 3 days. Like it's kind of that. Life is that sporadic right now. So I have the budget right now. The S5 II body costs the same as the S9 kit. I'm planning on dummy and HDMI. I'm planning on using it for streaming and growing with it. I enjoy filming and taking pictures too. In that case, I would go S5 II. Especially for photos, I would go S5 II. You got the viewfinder, you got the mechanical shutter. If you're using it for anything other than just streaming, yeah, the S5 II is probably a better option, in my opinion. I'm only concerned about the overheating. Yep, even more so then S5 II. If it's in your budget, and shop used. I'd try to find a used one. I don't even know how much they are used. Let me do a quick little search here. Used Lumix S5 II. Almost everything I own is used, so I really wouldn't ever worry about buying used gear. These are all used 2Xs. Adorama has one for 1,400. That's very good. There's not much. There's not a lot of used ones at the moment. Let me look on eBay. I don't love buying on eBay, but it is an option. It's all S5 2Xs. eBay is expensive. 1,300. There's 1,350. 1,250. That's bids. Yeah, it's looking around 1,400 is probably going to be your sort of best deal right now. So if that works for you, I would definitely go with the S5 II. Get yourself a good 24mm lens, and you'll be set. So it is hard to me to give up. I've been drinking the zero ones. So I think if I do come back, I want to try more zeros. In Kentucky, there's a drink called Ale 8, and it's like a ginger ale. And they have a Ale 8 Zero, which I did not think I was going to like, but it is very good. I actually really like it. It's very, very light. It's very easy to drink. That sounds like a gosh doms. It's like, gosh darn, but gosh, dom stuff looks good. Yeah, it does. I've never been to Kentucky. Yes, I'm in Florida. And you got the canvas TV with no flicker. Yes, you and Cozy were talking about that. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's cool. Got you in the background while I finish installing my desk legs. Nice. I hate building desks. Sorry, I hate building standing desks. It's such a nightmare. There's one thing that's worse than putting a desk together, and that's chairs. Like expensive chairs. Oh, nightmare. I hate building those things. I'd rather, like this desk, I've got like a big wooden/concrete desk as my main desk, and I built it myself out of like 2x4s and leftover scrap wood. I'd rather build this than put together like the sort of standing desks. It's such a hassle. I didn't know you were Christian until tonight. God bless. I'm heading out. My Taco Bell is here. Have a good one, guys. Have a good night. Yep, I am indeed. I try to make it as obvious as possible without being obnoxious. So there's that. And I'm always open for conversations. So, but I'm not really going to use this channel to like do that. I'm very tempted to start a channel about that, but for now, I usually just have those conversations in person as best I can because I don't know, it's better in my opinion. I must admit, I feel the pressure when Amazon says, get it delivered today if you ordered with it. Oh, absolutely. That is such a good move that they do. It's like, oh, dude, if you order it in the next 37 seconds, you'll get it tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, get it now. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Typo in the title. Is there? Am I an idiot? Where am I? No, I'm just Scottish. Dunny buy a new camera. That's funny. Whoops. Okay, I changed it. Thank you. I'm ending in like 10 minutes. So that's so funny that I didn't notice that till then. Yeah, just pretend like I'm Scottish. Dunny buy a new camera. It is so warm in this studio right now. I am sweating. Do I look sweaty? I look kind of sweaty. It is hot in here. S5 II is like $1,570 here in Denmark right now on offer, and the S5 II is worth it over the ZV-E10 Mark II to grow with. Probably. Look, both are good. It depends how like. So here would be. Let me go through a few pros and cons of each. The S5 II is full frame, so if you upgrade, you're probably going to upgrade. Like if you buy a new camera down the line, chances are that you're going to upgrade to another full frame camera. So the benefits to already having a full frame camera is all the lenses will work. If you start with the ZV-E10 Mark II and then you upgrade, but you upgrade to a full frame camera, your APS-C lenses will work, but you're going to have to like crop in. Whereas the S5 II, you'd be able to use your lenses more. In saying that, Sony have more lenses available. So there are more lens options in Sony. But if you're just getting started with Lumix, now might be the time because they're getting more lenses as they go. So it's a hard one. I think the trajectory of Lumix right now looks good, but Sony has the history. So I don't know. I would probably lean towards an S5 II. But again, it's really up to you. Both are great. Both are going to give you good results. Just get whichever one you feel more drawn to. You're going to find more content on YouTube about the Sony stuff, but that is because Sony has typically dominated the market on the YouTube space. But that is starting to change to Lumix as well. So I don't know. It's hard. I'm not 100% sure. I thought you were going to tell us a story about someone called Donnie who was buying a new camera. That's so dumb. I can't believe I didn't notice that. How did we get 2 hours into the live stream before anybody mentions the fact that there's a typo in the title? Donnie buy a new camera. That's so dumb. No way the typo was now just mentioned. Yeah, what was that about? What was that about? If I didn't have any camera or lenses, and if I was just buying my first camera, now I'd 100% get the S1R Mark II. Yeah, the S1R, yeah, it's pretty expensive. I don't have that kind of money. Most of the time when I look at cameras, like $2,000 and below. That has always been, since I was 18 buying like my first camera, my number has always been 2,000 and below. I don't know why, but that just feels like a nice number for me. Other people would say 5 or 4, but to me it's 2. So that's always just kind of been where I've landed, because I think there's a thing. I don't know if you guys have heard this term. Older people have probably heard it, but there's a thing called the law of diminishing return, which is like it's a graph, right? It's the other way around for you. It'd be that way. So the more money you spend, the less camera you get for your money. That's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but like the jump from a $500 camera to a $2,000 camera is huge, right? That's a big jump of camera quality, but 2,000 to 4,000 is actually not that much of a, you don't get a whole lot more for your money. So at the start, the more money that you spend, you get great upgrades, but then it gets to a point, probably past about $2,000, that the quality of the camera compared to the dollar amount that you have to increasingly spend gets lower and lower, if that makes sense. Which is always really hard. And that's why like some people will look at like an Arri Alexa, like what is that, like 30 grand, or Buranos, or like 20. People will look at those 20 to 30 to $40,000 cameras and say, well, an S5 II will has all of the same specs, which is kind of true. Like actually may even have more specs. But it's because as the camera gets more and more and more expensive, the rate at which it gets better does decrease. But that does matter to the people who are at that level, right? Like you can go from 10 stops of dynamic range to 14 within $2,000 price gap, but you're not getting to 15 or 16 until you're spending an extra 10 grand. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a weird like rate at which things change. I probably didn't explain that very well. I need like a whiteboard. Yeah, I was looking at the A7 III also, but people talk highly about the S5 II. Yeah, I think the A7 III is too old at this point. I would go A7C over an A7 III. That's just me though. You thought it was a play on words? I don't know what it would even play on words to. That's just showing my bad brain. Oh well. That's an awesome way of looking at it, and it's so true. Yeah, I mean, but it's just the way that it is. I mean, most things are like that. Same with anything. You know, guitars are like that. You can get a $1,000 guitar will sound fantastic, and a $10,000 guitar will sound a little bit better. You know, but that's worth it to a lot of people. So, but anyway, well, I got about 5 minutes before I need to go home and have some dinner. So if anybody has any last sort of thoughts or questions, do just go ahead and throw them in there. Otherwise, I'll be back here next week. I think Saturdays are working better. I'll probably try and do Saturdays more frequently. I was aiming for 5 o'clock, but the export of that video didn't work the first time, the one that I posted. So I had to like come back and re-export it, and I was a bit late. So, but yeah, I'm aiming for 5 o'clock Eastern on Saturdays for now. And again, that will change because life changes. But I'm really enjoying doing these live streams, and I do think I'll see how this goes. I'll try and look at the kind of figures online to sort of see on my YouTube Studio page to see if it's been beneficial to do a live stream right after I release a video, because then we can kind of talk about both. It gives me a topic as well, so that's kind of nice. So it's really distracting every time I look at my camera monitor, because it's not de-squeezed, because again we're on anamorphic, so it's like I look all squished. It's kind of weird looking. But yeah. Well, anyway, thank you all for hanging out. I know there's only 4 or 5 of you actually chatting. There's been 154 people here in total, and about 5 of you talk. So I don't know why so many people join live streams if they're not going to talk. But I appreciate all of you for being here anyway. So John Willis asked what the meaning of life is. I believe the correct answer is 42. If you know, you know. I think, is it? Yes, the meaning of life is 42. As far as I remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that or read it. And Paul says very true. Not to the answer being 42, but to something else. But that's okay. So very good. Alrighty. Well, it's been fun. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to head out here, and if you guys have any suggestions of other live streaming topics or anything I could do with these live streams, leave them in the comments once this thing goes up, because I would appreciate it. I did get it right. Nice. Okay. I'm going to call it there. It's been answered. All right, folks. Hope you all have a great time, and I will see you next week. That is the plan.